Hey guys, welcome back to SLT Learning, and we are continuing our crash course on manual to automations. And in last video that we have talked about Git and how the GitHub is work, right? How the project scope and automation tools that we can decide for the automation. So very basic things that we have covered about the manual testings for to the automation testing. And the first tool that we have covered is Git and GitHub. So first of all, I would like to thank you very much to all of you because I can see there is good growth in my subscriber because people are really liking, and in last 28 days I am getting 191 new subscriber to my channel. This is my new initiative. If you like this video, I will just say please share, subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. So let's jump to the Maven, right? So what is the Maven and how it's going to be useful for the automation tester to work on their day-to-day activity? Okay, so this could be our tool number two. First, we have already covered with Git and GitHub. This is my series like from manual to automation crash course. I'm gonna put all my videos over here, so you can also go through these videos if you have not done. I'm just giving them but benchmark of part one, part two, part three, so it will be easy for you to go one by one. Okay, so everything from scratch will be there from manual testing. If you're a non-IT person or a beginner or a fresher, then also you can learn how you can start and how you can pick up any new project and you can deliver quality work to your company. Okay, so let's we go to the Maven. Okay, so I have prepared some uh, topics for you guys for today. So before we know about Maven, it is really important to understand what is build life cycle and what is build, right? So normally when we come when we jump into the software side, right? So what is a build? Build, I will just say in a simple word, right? It will be the end package that gonna be deployed to the server, right? So that the customer can use our application in simple word. Okay, so if you know little bit about this technology and Java and all those file, right? Sometimes you have heard this word jar file. So jar file, it's a kind of build like the end product or end outcome from the Java, which contains a list of functionality that can be used as a part of the project. So the build will be similar to that one. Now, what is build tool? So build tool is the tool which help us to build this particular end project. I will just say the outcome. Okay, so when developer will develop the project, right? It contain many, I will just say jar files, then code files, and many resources and everything, right? So in that particular case, what will happen when they want to deploy on a server, right? They're gonna build them in a one package, and they will send that package to the server. They cannot send one file, two file, or number of files one by one, right? They have to package them. So that is the reason we have a Maven come into the picture. Okay, so Maven, what Maven will do? Maven will help the developer or automation tester to automate this process, right? So that is the reason Maven we normally call as a build automation tool. Okay, guys. So the Maven is the build automation tool, and it has couple of, I will just say the benefits to use the Maven when you work with the automation tester or when the programmer or developer work in their actual programming. Okay, so couple of things that will help you. We will also see the practicals, how Maven, how we can create a Maven project, right? And how we gonna deploy or how we gonna do all the things with the Maven. We will go with the practical as well. So what is Maven? So in simple term, Maven is build automation tool or build management tool that help you to make your build process fast and sufficient, so you can make the continuous build, right? Continuous build and continuous deployment is a part of the CI/CD, so you can implement that things with the use of the Maven. Okay, why I took this Maven initially? Because when you learn automation, right, you normally create the Maven project, and that is the reason I want you to just understand little bit about the Maven. Okay, so what would be the next things? So let's understand the problem statement, right? Why we will have a Maven over here. You got my point. So first of all, I will just say is when you create a Maven project, right? So Maven will give you some predefined template of a project, right? So it has some structure of the project. Like I will just say, if you are working with as a Java developer, then you will have J2 J2E project or some kind of the predefined template of your folder structure will be there. Another thing is that there are a couple of things that like people are struggling, right, when they want to add a jar files. If you are learning selenium, right, if you're learning from the without the maven, if you remember how you can import a jar files, you go manually from a build path and you can click on the add jar files, add external jar files, and you do it manually. So it is something time consuming, because when you work as a developer or automation tester, you require tons of jar files from the different things, okay, like from apache py and everything you require a jar files. So those kind of the challenges that we face, like every times we cannot go to the specific website and download them and import to our eclipse and all those things, okay. That another challenge that we face, like building and deploying the project, right? So whenever we build and we want to quickly deploy to the different server, it is the time consuming, right? So what will happen now, the jenkins configuration with pom.xml, which is the part of the maven, will help us to do the quick build and deployment over here, and along with that we can also do the testing of our automation test cases. Okay, so guys, why I took the Maven? Because in a Maven we will learn about pom.xml, which is the one of the file which we normally consider the heart of the Maven, right? Which mainly used in the Jenkins to create a CI/CD pipeline, the cron jobs, and all those things, which help you to do the things on the one go. Okay, so that is the reason when Maven came into the picture, it created the uniform build process, right? Why? Because the build, test, and deployment are all coming together for the Maven. Those are the part, or those are the goal of this particular Maven project as well. Okay, so what is happening when you create a Maven project, that also help you to download the dependency automatically, right? So Maven will have a different structure how you can deploy the dependency. We will see it practically in this video how we can add the dependency in maven and all those things. But that is one of the benefit if you want to update the version of the dependency, if you want to store the dependency locally, or if you want to create your own I will just say remote dependency on your server, right? So in case maven got down, your project will not get effect. So you can also do that things by using the maven. So Maven repository, right? As we discussed in our last project, what is repository? The repository is nothing. It's just I will just say is the folder which contain list of files which help us to do the programming. Okay. In a Maven repository, what we normally will have, we will have a different library jar files, different plugins, different project related jar files which help us to do our job easy for build and deploy. Okay, so there are three type of maven repository, guys. The local I will just say is the which kind of stored in your machine, right? When you deploy the maven, when you add the dependency in your project, that will come to the local side. Normally it create the m2h home folder, and all the jar files will remain in that particular folder. We will also see this one how the local dependency it's get created automatically from scratch. Okay, now another type is central repository, right? That is I will just say is customized repository created by the company. Let's suppose if you have a big company, right, and you want to create your own dependency. Why? Because sometimes let's suppose you cannot depend, right, on the maven to have the to give you the dependency every time. So what will happen? So at that time you can have the maven dependency on your side, so it will help you to download those dependency from central site itself. Okay, you can also have a remote repository where you can just define under the repository tag in pom.xml, but those things we will see in practically. Okay, then we will have Maven build life cycle. So when we talk about build life cycle, what will happen? The build will be mainly go phase by phase, right? So build life cycle or any life cycle will start from something and end up with something. So initially when we see the Maven build a life cycle, initially it will prepare the resource, right? Prepare the resource means prepare the code files, the test files, or whatever the required file we required to execute the project, to validate the information in the project, that will be prepared. And once it is prepared, it gonna validate it, right? So maven will use the validate phase to validate those information if it is correct or not. Then it will do the compilation for the source code, and after the compilation, if everything is fine, it will start executing the test cases, the automation test cases, which is compiled in a source code. And if all the test cases will pass, then it will package them together in a jar or WAR file, and then it will install in a specific folder, local or remote repository, and then it will get deployed to the remote repository which we have defined in a pom.xml. So prepare a resource, validate, compile, test, package them, install them, and deploy them. This is the Maven build life cycle. So in interview, they might be ask you these questions: what are the different repository Maven will have, right? What is Maven build life cycle? You can explain like this way; they will understand. You will have a basic concept about the Maven. Okay. Then apart from the Maven build lifecycle, we will have another file pom.xml which we're gonna see practically. So I'm just skipping that part, but you can see the element and the description about the element over here. So you can refer these things after onward, or you can keep the screenshot of this particular image with you for a learning. Then we will have a different plugins to work with the Maven. Okay, so when we execute the Maven project, there are different plugin will help us to create the build, to prepare the reports, right, to clean the folders, to compile the files, to generate the JUnit test report like Surefire plugin. Then we will have char or war. Those are the output type in the Maven. So those kind of the plugin will help us to make the Maven like the, I will just say, integrated with the other things. Then this is simply the phase and goal. This is pretty much similar to the, I will just say, is the builder life cycle. How the builder life cycle will work, the same way the phase and goals of the Maven will work. And the phase will be, the as the name suggests, that the different phase of the project is gonna be, and the goal is, that means the small part of that particular phase that will help you to achieve those things. So when you execute any project with the Maven command, you will see this information over there. Okay, so hope this will help you to understand the basic concept of Maven. What are the key things that you need to know about Maven, like Maven build lifecycle, Maven repository, the problem challenge that normally we face in HTLC, how Maven will overcome them, and all those things will give you the basic understanding about the Maven. Always remember these few things, like what are the different phases we have in Maven. So I can find this image for you, so I have placed it over here. And what kind of the phase and goal we will have in Maven. So these are the phase and goal in the Maven that you will find. Okay, so now let's we do one thing. Let's we go and do the practical of this particular Maven, how you can create the Maven project in a Eclipse, and we will go one by one. So first of all, let's me open Eclipse. So I will click on my Eclipse. I have already installed the Eclipse, and those are the tutorial. It will be easily be available how to install Eclipse. I have just created one space for our this particular training tutorial for this particular series, right? So we're gonna use that particular space to do the our all the practicals. We're gonna also see about small practicals of Seleniums in the next couple of videos. But let's we talk about Maven, right? So this is how your Eclipse will look like if you are a beginner, or if you are installing it first time, or opening it a first time. Okay, so always to create a Maven project, go to File, go to New, and click on Project. Right. Once you will click on Project, the Maven will be automatically and inbuilt installed with the Eclipse. So you no need to install Maven like separately. So you will find the Maven over here. Click on Maven. Once you will click on this option, it will says Maven modules. Check out the Maven project from SME or some source control management tool if you want to include, or you can just click on Maven project over here. I will click on next. As soon as you will click on next, it will guide you how you're gonna create the Maven project for your for your automation project. So you will see this option like, do you want to create a simple project, like skip the article selection. What is archetype selection? That means the template that Maven will give you. Do you want to skip it, or do you want to keep it, right? So I will not skip it. I want to show you that part over there. Keep this one, use default workspace. So whatever the workspace you have selected, it will take by default. Project set, if you want to add, you can add if you have parent or sub project, but I will just keep it unchecked. This is my first project. So I will click on next, and once you will click on next, right, you have to wait over here, because you see over here at the bottom it says retrieving archetypes, right? So different archetypes means different, I will just say, the template of the project structure is available for you. So these are the different archetypes that is available for you. You can select based on your requirement. If you are doing the spring boot project or something like docker related project or something like that way, you can select that particular things. You can just go to starts and all those things, but I'm going to select this blank Maven blank projects, right? So I can select this one. But what I'm going to do, I will show you the blank structure. So I will just say create a Maven, skip the archetype. Okay, click on next. As soon as you will click on next, what will happen, this will give you this information, right? So over here what you can do, right, you can just create your Maven group ID or Maven project, right? So over here you need to define two things, how you want to give your Maven project group ID, that will help you to define in the pom.xml, and artifact ID, that means nothing, it's just a name that you need to give your folder structure. Okay, so I will just say SLT learning Maven, and I will just say Maven demo 01. So this is my first project. Okay, or Maven demo or Maven first project. I will give like this way. You can see the version, you can see what you want to keep it, like if you have multiple version, or you can just provide the packaging. Do you want to generate the jar files or war files or pom files at the end of the execution from Maven? Other things is optional. If you want to add, you can add, or you can just keep it as blank, and you can just click on finish. Okay, as soon as you will click on finish, you see it over here, it's bottom, it says creating project Maven project, and it's just saying 0%. But when it is finished, you can see it over here, the Maven first project, right? And you can click on this one, and you can see the project over here. And this is the default folder structure that Maven will give you, and this will help you to create your own automation framework as well, right? Because in automation you have to create certain folder and structure and all those things. So it is a Java, the src main Java folder. This is the resource folder that normally you will put your all the Excel file, configuration file, which is useful for your programming or for your automation code. Then in src test.java, you can normally put your test cases code file, right? These are also the I will just say the Java code file, or any code file which you will put over here in a testing folder. But that is a part of the testing, right? That will help you to as a part for the testing. Now what you can do, right, these are the GRE library, Java related stuffs and all those things. You can find all the jar files, you see. And now what I'm going to do, I will open this pom.xml. Okay, so this pom.xml, so what we have created so far, guys, we have created a Maven project, the blank Maven project, right? And this is our group ID, and this is our version ID, right? Now we need to add few more things, right? We need to add a dependencies and all those things over here. So now suppose you want to add a dependency in this particular Maven project, what you can do, you will have some flag, right? You will have some flag to add the Maven dependency. But as we have created the blank one, we cannot see it over here. So what we can do, we can just enter and just say depend, and I will just hit enter, and I will select this one. You see the dependency tag has been created for me. Now I want to install the Selenium dependency and test ng dependency, guys. So how I can do that things, I can go to Google. I will just click on Google, right? And I will just say this is the remote central dependency from Maven. Maven dependencies, right? Once you will click on Maven dependency, this first website, this is official website of Maven, from where you can find all your dependency, guys, right? So always bookmark these particular things, right? This will help you to download all the dependencies. So I'm just saying Selenium, and I will hit enter. So it says Selenium Java, yes. And over here you see it says this is the central repository, and this is the dependency available, the latest dependency. So simple, just copy this one, go to your Eclipse, and paste it over here, right? And I will just, once after I will paste it, I will just say Control S. As soon as you will click on Control S, at the bottom you see it says building, and it will start downloading all the selenium related jar files to this particular project. Okay, and over here you will see the Maven dependency over here in a while, but once it is finished we can see those file over here. Now we need also test ng dependency. So what we can do, we can search test ng and hit enter. So you see this is the test ng one. I will select this one, and the latest is 7.8.0. I can click on this one. I can copy this part. It's very easy, right guys? Just copy this part, put it over here, right? I'm just putting over here, and you see this Maven dependency folder got created automatically, and you see all the selenium related jar files are over here now. You see selenium 4.9 point and all those things, right? So all the version related jar files is now over here, and if I paste this testng1 and I will click on S, it will also start downloading the testng related. You see testng 7.8.0 jar file also get downloaded. Now suppose you want to change the version, right? In future you want to change the version. I want to put 7.7.1. So if I just change it 7.7.1, right? How, see how the Maven work, right? So now this is how quickly it help you to change the dependency. You see over here the test ng says 7.7.1. Again, if I want to make it 8.0, I just change it over here and press Ctrl S. It will replace this one automatically, right? So this is the power of Maven, right? Maven dependency. You can update the version of the dependency in suppose if it is a latest dependency available, you need to just change over here, right? No need to go and download the zip file, then unzip it and do it all those things again. Okay, so previously what we used to do, we normally go to build path, right? We will go to configure build path, and over here we used to, in a library we used to click on add external jar and add the selenium file and all those things. But now you no need to do anything. You can just use Maven dependency and everything will be over here. And this is, you see .m2 folder got created in your local machine. C user del m2 folder has created. So this is the local dependency got created, as we have discussed, right? Local dependency. So this is the local dependency has created, and this is the central dependency from where you can download the Maven things. Okay, this is Maven repository, that is a central repository of Maven. Okay guys, so hope this will help you to create your first Maven project, right? And understand how the Maven things will work, right? And how you can add the dependency over here. So let's we do one thing. Let's we keep this particular project alive, and I will just right click and go to run. But as of now I will just see different options like Maven build, Maven clean, Maven generate resource, Maven install, and Maven test. So these are the different Maven phases that we will have. If I click on Maven build, okay, it is just a blank folder, but if I will click on Maven build, it will ask me to give a goal or something like that way. I will just keep it as blank and I will click on run, and all those things, the output you might be see it over here. So let's we see how it is gonna be work. Okay, so it just says build failure, right? Because some of the things is not matching up. But when we will create some project, right, we will see over here the build related things, how it gonna be work. But this is how you can create your first Maven project, guys. So in the next videos, right, we're going to talk about Selenium now, right? And when we will talk about Selenium, we will talk about the small practicals about Selenium, because I want you to understand from basic, understand the basic of Selenium, small practical, and then we will create a framework which will help you to do your job easily. Because when you have the knowledge in depth, you can easily understand the concept and you can easily implement in any new project or existing project in your company. Okay, so hope guys you will like my video. You can share this video with your team if you find it useful. You can just follow this particular channel, sorry, playlist. I'm gonna add everything in this particular I will just say is the playlist, all the tools and all the like test ng, Maven, git, then I will just say is the Jenkins and everything. I'm going to put it over here, but one by one, how one like the beginner will wants to learn. Okay, so again, you can find many other playlists in my channel, so you can also go and watch those particular things. I hope that will help you to gain some knowledge on QA side. But in later on, I am also going to put some Python development and the DevOps related stuffs. So you can see the Java programming related stuff, few of the QA related interview guidance, right? Few of the like 9 videos will have a couple of videos, a couple of questions answer as well. So you can just go through this one, that will help you to gain the knowledge about API testing and everything. Okay. So yeah, thank you guys, and thanks for watching this video.